Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a brilliant week. I think winter or autumn is definitely setting in now. It's definitely gone. Fuck. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all had a brilliant week. I'll start with a quick announcement. Well, it's not really an announcement, really. My subscribers have crept up a little bit again. I'm now up to 160, which I'm really pleased about. I've got a new subscriber, Jane Kareem. So if you're watching this, Jane, morning. Hope you're enjoying what we're doing here. Feel free to join the Facebook group. Take a look at the website, the Instagram page, all that sort of thing. I think details are in the bio of the video underneath, so feel free to pop over and take a look and join the group. We're a friendly bunch. You'll be made more than welcome. As I say, welcome to the channel, and hope you like what we're trying to do. Let's see, I'll start with comments as I always do, and I'll start with David as I always do. Morning, David Mansell. Awesome video. My question is, who are your favourite YouTubers that you watch in the film community, and what are some of your favourite films of all time and least favourite films you have in your collection? Oh my god, that's a question. I'll start with the YouTubers. Let's see, obviously yours, because I do love watching people showing off their collections. It's a bit like having a nose around their house and just having a look what they've actually got. So yeah, I do enjoy yours, mate. Sammy G's World of Cinema. I've got it all written here, by the way, because I'd never remember these off the top of my head. Sam from Sammy G's World of Cinema, adore his videos. Stuart George, really enjoy his. He posts probably 2-3 times a week, and I love his little collection videos because they always give me something to talk about on a Sunday morning. Gareth, Video Tasties, love his videos. West Wales Video, and the most annoying jingle ever. Well done, Gareth. I was watching that one week, and I tell you what, that jingle got stuck into my head to the point where I was walking around the warehouse going, West Wales Video. Oh God. Jason the Ginger Ninja, love his stuff as well, especially his little 60-second tidbits that he posts, or his little videos. Well, so I've got it. Steve Mack, Let's Talk Criterion. I love his little reviews of the latest Criterion releases. The Cult Lords, they're great fun. An American outfit, duo, really, really good fun. Rick, how could we forget Rick, the old AF? I love his videos. He doesn't post much now, but I think he's got a lot going on at the moment. Matthew Binney, Aussie VHS, I enjoy his. And I do miss, like crazy, Dave Oliver, who we sadly lost. I think it was either earlier this year or late last year. I do miss him, and I miss talking about his videos and his reviews. There wasn't really a week go by that I wouldn't sort of pick out one of his reviews from the week and chat about them and sort of swap notes on them and this, that and the other. So I do miss the late great Dave Oliver. I think that's it. There's probably loads more. I'm subscribed to so many that I can't keep track of them, but they're the main ones that I do enjoy watching. As for the what was the other bit, let's see, favourite films of all time and the least favourite films you have in your collection. I'll come back to that next week, mate, because I need time to think on that one, especially the least favourite. As a rule, I would not usually buy films that I don't like unless they are to complete a franchise or a set or something like that, because I'm a bit of a completist. But leave that one with me. I'll come back to that one next week. I'll make a note on the notes for next week that I'm to come back on that. So thanks for that, David. Much appreciated. Lee, we were chatting the other day about the origins of the channel and how it came about. And I was basically saying that if it hadn't have been for Lee Barber and Dave Lowe, none of this would have come about, none of it, especially not the channel. And Lee, you said, you're welcome, Tony. And when you said the first movie you saw was to do with motorsport, at Burton Odeon that was, I remember saying that my dad took me to see it. I had a little bet with myself that it was Le Mans. I'm surprised you got that. What have I got here? Just bear with me. Yeah, that was it. That was the very first movie that I ever saw on the big screen. As I said last week, the actual film bored the hell out of me, but the fact that it was on this huge, massive screen and we were watching it in the dark, and I was watching it with my dad, that's what made it special, and that's why I now want to take another look at it. Um, I mean, I was only 11, probably 11 years old, no, 9, when I first saw this. It's not really a 9-year-old's movie, is it? And it's not. But now I think I would really, really, truly appreciate what it was that my dad saw in this. So I'm going to be taking a look at that one at some point soon. And there were a couple of others that he used to like, that I've got here. Now, I've not seen these. I do remember them coming on, and I do remember him telling me when they came on that they were about 3 hours a piece. So they just sort of went straight over my head. I didn't bother with them, but I certainly would bother with them now. Grand Prix, starring James Garner. Who else was in this? Eva St. Marie, Yves Montand, Francoise Hardy. Don't recognise any of these people, but this is supposed to be really, really good. Nice one. The back's in German, so I can't read it. I think you get the idea. And this one, he'd seen this one a few times, Winning, with Paul Newman. Now, I believe this is set around the world of the Grand Prix. The Indy 500. This is one I need to watch, but again, this is a long, long film, and I can't find the running time of it, but I'm fairly sure that this is either 3 hours or close to. So that is one that I do need to check out. I could have a little motorsport day. So they're the three that I remember most as far as motorsport goes. Have you got a favourite, Lee, amongst those, or any others that you would like to mention? So thanks for that, Lee, much appreciated. Dave Taylor, morning Dave. Hi Tony, where did you get that Norman Wisdom box set for £3? Amazon is where I got it. I looked for it on there, and it just popped up at £3. I don't think they go for very much nowadays. I think brand new, it was probably about £15 or £16. But if you look at the new and used section, you'll find them much cheaper than that. I don't know whether you'll get one for £3, but you'll certainly find one for not much more than that. And another good place to look is eBay. I've got some cracking bargains off there. And there's another site that Mark mentions a bit later on that I've not looked at yet, but I'm definitely going to check out. So yeah, Amazon or eBay is your best bet for that one, mate. You were asked, what was your first trip to the cinema you remember? Mine was Fantasia at the Burton Odeon with my gran. Fantasia, I've seen it once. I remember it being not what you would class as something that you would take children to see, because it's more of a cultural kind of Disney, isn't it? I think it was more about the music, the classical music, than it was about the visuals, although the visuals were great, and I do remember loving the Sorcerer's Apprentice section of it. But the rest of it, I can't remember very much about it at all, apart from the fact that I wasn't overly keen on it. Let's see, like you, I also saw Le Mans at the Odeon. I must admit it wasn't really my thing, not a fan of car racing, so you definitely wouldn't have enjoyed that then. So why did you go to see it? I'm curious. Did you? Oh, hang on. You probably had your dad take it as well, same as me, yeah, more than likely. So war movies. We're talking about war movies. I believe I saw some of The Thin Red Line. Is it set in the Pacific Theatre? For some reason I didn't get into it. It is definitely set in the Pacific. I couldn't tell you much more about it though, because I can't remember whether I've seen it or not. It's one of them. I'm fairly sure I did watch it because I had it on DVD a long, long time ago. But I can't remember ever watching it. I do know, again, it's a long film. It's nearly 3 hours. So there's a very good chance that I didn't watch it and I ended up either giving it away or selling it or chucking it out, never to be seen again. So I am in the process of getting another copy, which I will probably be showing off a little bit later on. Let's see. Escape to Victory. I didn't care for much. Escape to Victory I didn't care for much, as Sylvester Stallone's character and acting seemed pretty naff. I've not seen it yet. I know it's a really beloved British sort of escape from POW camp type movie. Everybody I know has pretty much seen Escape to Victory. I'm probably the only person that hasn't. You put here, spoiler, there is an arm break scene probably in the first 15 minutes or so. Thanks for that. Don't remember if you actually see anything, probably tame by today's standards. I wouldn't imagine we're going to hear a crack and see a bone sticking out of an arm somehow. It's probably just going to land on it. You're going to hear a little tiny snap, but I'll be ready for it. Thanks for that, Dave. This last part, perhaps you need to leave until you have watched Bridge on the River Kwai. Oh, I don't think so. I think I'll be fine with it. My take on the movie, Bridge on the River Kwai, I liked it a lot as a kid. But like I said about the Italian Job, that's the Kane version, now I don't rate it. As you rightly say, about 80% or more is just fiction. It tries to make out the Japanese couldn't control the prisoners while on the working parties, although some of the portrayals of goings on outside the camp seem totally stupid to me. As I'm sure you can tell, I take my war films seriously as they portray our country's history. I do love a good war film. Whether I take them seriously or not is another matter. I know you do, because you used to talk about it a lot at work when we used to get on the subject of sort of war movies, and we get talking about like The Great Escape and The Wooden Horse and stuff like this, which are obviously based on fact, but not to the point where they are completely historically accurate, let's say. So I can completely appreciate that. Thanks for that lot, Dave. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. Stuart George, morning, Stu. Great video, mate. Saturday Night Fever is so misunderstood. I can't get through a week now without mentioning Saturday Night Fever. Love it. Love Close Encounters as well. The music and the visuals are fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I can't really say any more about Close Encounters than I've already said. Also love the original Star Wars trilogy and Planet of the Apes. The original from 1968 is a sci-fi masterpiece. Both are. I mean, if I had to pick my 5 favourite movies, you've probably got 4 of them there, quite easily. When I said I've got my own movie room, we have a 3-bedroom house. All my collection, 4Ks, Blu-rays, VHS, vinyl, are all in that 3rd bedroom. I watch movies downstairs on the family TV. I do love my movie room though. I do have a very understanding wife. You must have. My favourite time of the year is coming. Yes, Christmas. I'm already thinking of my Christmas content. Do you like Christmas and festive films? You're already thinking about festive content. It kind of crossed my mind this morning. I thought, what are you going to do? Are you going to do anything special for Christmas, or are you just going to do sort of the normal recording? It'll probably just be the normal recording with a bit of a festive theme, and I will probably do a short 5 or 6 minute video on Christmas morning. And then obviously the week after it'll be my Christmas haul video and what I've been watching over the Christmas period and all that sort of thing. But doing anything special, probably not. As for festive Christmas films, absolutely love them. Like 90% of the world, I turn into a big kid at the beginning of December, and it doesn't sort of wear off until after Boxing Day. As I've always said, I've always thought Boxing Day is a bit of a hanger-on day. I don't bother with Boxing Day at all. As far as I'm concerned, once Christmas Day is gone, that's Christmas finished. My Christmas is mainly the build up to that time, which basically starts at the beginning of December. So yes, I do love Christmas films. Favourite ones, I've shown them off so many years on the chart, and I will probably do it again this year, but you're talking Santa Claus the movie. My favourite ever is Scrooge, the Albert Finney musical from 1970. I watch it every Christmas Eve without fail, have done for years. Also, I love Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life. White Christmas is a classic. I haven't seen it for a couple of years, but I used to watch that every Christmas morning on the portable TV while I was preparing Christmas dinner. I would always have White Christmas on. I love Bing Crosby's Christmas specials that he did. My particular favourite would be the 1977 one, which again I watched most Christmas Eves. That's the one that he did the duet with David Bowie, Little Donkey. Was it Little Donkey? Can't remember. But he did a duet with David Bowie on that one. Absolutely love that. So yeah, I will be showing off my Christmas movies again, almost certainly. And I'm very curious to see what you guys have got going on Christmas. I mean, Jason's started already because he's doing his build up to Christmas TV sort of thing thread, showing off a year's worth of sort of Christmas TV every day. Absolutely loving it, Jay, by the way. Absolutely adoring it. You know my feelings on Christmas and Christmas TV as it was, not as it is now. Don't get me wrong, I love the soaps, but can't we just have a traditional Christmas every now and then? You know, I think BBC4 attempt it every now and then, whereas they'll put sort of old classic Christmas specials on of comedy shows and stuff like that. But mostly it's all this. It is pretty much soaps, and the big films have now gone, haven't they? Because obviously with streaming and this, that, and the other, you've seen what would be classed as the big Christmas films so many times. They've been available for God knows how long. Whereas in the 70s and the 80s, and you'll all remember this, but I know Jason will. The Christmas movie, the Christmas Day movie, was always an event, and it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas. Absolutely, Stu. Thanks for that, mate. Much appreciated. Steve Mack, morning, Steve, our Criterion guy. I watched the new 4K of Nightmare on Elm Street last night. Looked and sounded great. There's a theatrical and uncut version. Of course, I went for the uncut. I didn't realise there was an uncut version of it. I certainly didn't realise that they cut the original. So you may just have persuaded me to grab a copy of that. I've got my Elm Street box set, which I believe contains the first 7, but not the reboot that they did around about 2010, which was pretty much a waste of time. But I would definitely be curious to know what scenes have been put back in or what was cut. I need to go on the BBFC site with that one. So thanks for the heads up on that one, Steve. Tony, a warning. A warning? Only the Umbrella Caligula 4K has the 4 cuts of the film. There are other releases from the US. Don't go there. Hearing horrendous reports on one particular label's packaging, they outright lied about what was in it. So avoid all but the Umbrella release. Glad to have the warning on that one. I mean, I probably wouldn't have imported it from the States anyway. I'm always a bit wary of stateside releases, even though the 4Ks are obviously region free. I know the Blu-rays are definitely not, so I would only get the 4K from there. But that Umbrella release looks amazing. 150 Australian dollars, which I think is going to be about 60 or 70 pounds. And if we're not getting any kind of a release, which it's looking like we're not getting one, because nothing has been announced in the UK of a release on Caligula the Ultimate Cut. So I don't know what's happening with that, but thanks for the warning, mate. I definitely won't be purchasing from there. When you said package, for some reason I changed it to packaging. I look at it now and I think you mean package as in what was contained within it, extras and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely won't be bothering with that. But I'm definitely impressed with the Umbrella one, so there's a very good chance I will be invested in that. So thanks for that, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Jason K, our Ginger Ninja. Morning, Jay. Return of the Living Dead is one of my all-time favourites. I need to take another look at this one. I saw it many, many years ago, but I've not seen it since. That's one that I wouldn't mind taking in again. Little Monsters was a surprise, and an Aussie flick too. Do you know what? It was an absolute gem of a movie. I've had it on the planner, must be 2 years, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch some of these things off the planner to try and start clearing a bit of space for when Christmas comes, because obviously there's going to be an absolute slew of programmes that I'm going to want to record. Not. I always do this. I always create sort of 10-20% of recording space on the hard drive, and then suddenly realise there's about 3 programmes that I want to record. So anyway, I digress. Little Monsters. I just looked at it and then read the review and thought, that sounds good. And as soon as I saw Screen Australia at the beginning, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be good. The first 15 minutes was just absolutely hysterical. The middle bit was brilliant. The end was good. It was just an all-round good movie. A zombie outbreak type flick. The only way I can best describe Little Monsters to anybody that hasn't seen it is a bit like crossing Kindergarten Cop with Night of the Living Dead. if you can even begin to imagine that. But if you've not seen it, it's on Sky Cinema at the moment in the UK. I'm not sure where it's playing in Australia. But if you get a chance to watch it, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised at how good it actually is. Let's see, I've just finished recording a fun little video for you. It'll be out on Halloween. What, for me personally? I always look forward to your videos, mate, but I'm definitely looking forward to that one. The day after was my threads. That movie did terrify me. And Threads on BBC iPlayer is only available in the UK. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have teased you with that one. If you can get a copy of Threads, I don't think you'd be disappointed. The day after, I saw the night it was broadcast in the UK, which was sometime in the 70s. The headlines surrounding that the following day, my God, something like nuclear horror program on sort of 7 o'clock at night or something like that. But it was obviously another cautionary tale against nuclear war breaking out. Um, it was scary, I must admit. I would not mind seeing that one again. I haven't seen that since 1970 whatever when it first screened. But I definitely wouldn't mind another look at that one. I mean, that and Threads back to back. I'd need a bottle of uppers next to me for that one, I think. Witchfinder General has been on my list for a while now, and I will get to it. I can't wait to hear what you think of that. It's just classic British folk horror, 1969, I believe. Vincent Price, Ian Ogilvy, just superb, absolutely brilliant. Never get bored of it. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to how many I have. I'm guessing it's physical media you're talking about here. I have most stored away. A lot I seem to stream now as I watch through the week just for convenience, but I still get a lot on physical media just to have it in my collection. Welcome to my world. How many have I had this week? Let me just have a quick look. Glance over my shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4 I've ordered, so I've gone one over my limit. But I am desperately trying to hold off on buying any more for the moment. I do need to get some of the ones that I've got watched and decide whether I'm going to bin them or keep them. So I totally get that. No one I saw walked out of Terrifier 3, but people walked out of Joker 2. Wow, that's saying something. Terrifier 3. I don't know. Would I watch it? I mean, I've seen the first one, and I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I got through it. Minus the bedroom scene, I would probably get through Terrifier 2. If it wasn't for the arm break. Oh, here we go again. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm hearing reports, obviously, that Terrifier 3, the first 10 minutes is so intense that people are throwing up and fainting and dying on the spot and walking out and running out screaming and oh my God, really? So maybe I would. I don't know. If I'm feeling brave enough one day, I started to take on another suggestion from somebody yesterday, and I'm about an hour and 35 into it, and I'm just about to hit the meat of it, if that makes any sense. I'm not going to give it away, but I'm fairly sure that the person who challenged me to watch this will know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll give you my thoughts on that one next week when I've been brave enough to tackle the last 40 minutes. Great vid as always. Thanks, Jay. Much appreciated, mate. Always brilliant to hear from you. Mark. Morning, Captain. Morning, Mark. Thanks for doing the top 10 movies that would keep. Thanks for doing the top 10 movies that you would keep out of your collection. I've only seen 2 of them, and I thought they were both pants. Well, which ones were those? Tell me which ones they were, mate. There is an app called Vinted, which is for buying and selling retro clothing. My wife uses it a lot, and even my son has started using it. Anyway, I've just found out this week that you can also buy and sell DVDs, Blu-rays, etc. on there. I've been having a look, and you can get lots of good stuff on there. Maybe it's worth a look for movies you want but don't want to pay a lot of money for. I'm going to have a look. There's been a couple I've been looking for this morning. I've managed to find one, but the other one is proving very, very elusive. It's almost a collector's item now, so it's going on eBay for stupid prices like 75 quid. I'm not paying 75 pounds for a 4-disc set that originally cost probably 19.99 or something like that. So I might try Vinted. I may be in luck and find it on there. Great video, mate. Same time next week. Absolutely, mate. Yes. Right, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm on 24 minutes. I've got Sam's comment, which is going to take a little bit more than 6 minutes to get through. Or shall I attempt it? Let's have a look. Yeah, Yeah, go on, we'll have a go. Hello, Tone. Great video as always, mate. Thanks, Sam. Much appreciated. Absolutely love Metropolis. Saw it twice at Tyneside. Absolutely fantastic piece of silent cinema and so ahead of its time. It's nearly 100 years since the film was released and it still stands the test of time. Well worth a watch, Tony, mate. I will definitely be watching it. There are two versions. There's a 2 hour version and a 2.5 hour version. I believe BFI Player has got the 2.5 hour version, so that's probably the one that I'm going to watch. But the imagery in Metropolis is iconic. You can't mistake it. I have watched Dawn and Day of the Dead. I had such a great time with the Dead trilogy from Romero, but surprisingly, I say Day is my favourite film out of the trio. Awesome trilogy of films. What zombie movies prior to Night of the Living Dead would you recommend? I definitely recommend Hammer's Plague of the Zombies. That is really, really good. What I want to do is bring up a list of zombie movies and just basically take a look at which other older ones that I've seen, because I can't bring any to mind. So I'm going to put that one off until next week, but I will make a note, as I did with that question of David's, on next week's notes, and I'll come back to you on that one next week. Thanks for the kind words on my book collection, Tone. I am still yet to check out the Elvis Costello autobiography. Do you have a favourite album of his? I only ever bought one, and I'm not sure whether I've still got it. I believe it was called Armed Forces, and it was the one that Oliver's Army came off. I loved Oliver's Army at the time. I do remember buying that album, playing it through once, thinking, yeah, that's not bad, but I just came back to Oliver's Army all the time. So if I had to pick a favourite, it will be that one, mostly because it's the only one that I've got or heard. Yeah, my fave album of his is a toss up between My Aim Is True and This Year's Model. Two of my favourite albums ever. Saw him live last month, and it was incredible. I remember This Year's Model. I believe that was late 70s, but I couldn't name any of the tracks off it. Of his early stuff, I enjoyed Pump It Up, Accidents Will Happen, Good Year for the Roses was a good one. I do need to invest in a greatest hits CD of his actually for the car, which I should be doing later this morning. So let's see. Tone, by the time your next Saturday block is out, I will be heading over to Tyneside Cinema for this Halloween all-nighter. Can't wait, mate. First time I've attended a cinema all-nighter. I've never done it. I don't think I could make it through one, to be honest. Seeing Zombie Flesh Eaters, Texas Chainsaw 2. Oh, not sure what you're going to make of that one. I saw it ages ago and it doesn't bear an awful lot of resemblance to the original, I have to say. Scream 2, not bad. Carrie, classic. Going to be a real fun experience for sure. Rewatched Halloween Season of the Witch. It's fantastic, mate, and really defies what makes a superb Halloween movie. Take care, Tony. Hope you're having an awesome weekend and bring on next Saturday's blog. I really enjoyed your unboxing of my parcel, by the way. I should have warned you that I did make it pretty much tamper-proof. I put so much tape on these things, like when I used to sell them on eBay. I'm surprised I never got negative feedback for the amount of tape and stuff that I used to put on it. I just had a few unfortunate experiences of people saying that, you know, things had arrived broken or damaged or whatever. So I thought, right, never again. So I just started going way over the top, over-egging the pudding as you do. But yeah, I'm really chuffed that you enjoyed those two movies, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on both of them when you get a chance to watch them. Which isn't going to be this month, I know, because you're going to be concentrating on your horror films for Halloween. So, as for you, Halloween all nighter, I've sorted out 4 movies that I would consider to be not my perfect all nighter, but one that I wouldn't mind taking on if I thought I could stay awake that long. So what I'll do is I'll come straight back to that in the next section. So I'll just take a quick break and I'll be back in a second. And we're back. Right, before I say another word, David Mansell was asking me earlier about my favourite YouTubers within the film community. I completely forgot to mention Scott the movie critic, the lovely Scott. I'm so sorry, Scott, if you're watching this. I've got you written down on the notes here, but for some reason I skipped over it, and I'm so sorry. So, loving the karaoke's, by the way. You've not done any for a couple of weeks. I'll maybe put a request in at some point for one for me. I'm probably the only person within the community that's not sort of asked you to do something, so we'll need to put that right, I think. So yeah, Scott's definitely one of my favourites, absolutely. So right, moving rapidly on. I'll be coming back to comments in just a minute with Callie and Jason. I think they're the only two I've got left, but they are mammoth comments as always. So there's just a couple of bits I want to show off here very quickly first. Last week I showed off this lovely box set that I got for about 25 quid. Woodfall were the leaders in sort of the kitchen sink dramas of the 60s and early 70s. And I got this lovely box set with 9 movies contained within it. And I did promise that this week I would show it off properly by taking it out of the cellophane, which I'm now doing. And I can show you properly what is within this, if they will come out. Here we go. Now, I don't know much about these movies individually because I've not seen, I think I've only seen about one of them. But what you've got in here is Look Back in Anger, which is Richard Burton, Claire Bloom, Certificate Exit, brags on the cover there. The Entertainer, which I believe starred Laurence Olivier. The See Me Searing Story, Behind the Smile. I think this is one of Sam's favourites actually. Saturday Night and Sunday Morning with Albert Finney. This is one I have seen a couple of times. Really, really good movie. Very controversial at the time because basically it was raw, really, really raw. It doesn't say on here that it was an X certificate, but I know for a fact it was because I listened to a podcast about that just the other day. A Taste of Honey, another X certificate classic starring Rita Tushingham. Seen this once, loved it. Looking forward to watching it on Blu-ray. The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. This is Tom Courtenay. Don't remember much about this one. I have seen it once, but don't remember much about it. You've also got Tom Jones with Albert Finney again. That's a long film. This is how long is this one? Does it say? It doesn't say, but I think this is clocking in at nearly 3 hours. I'm sure it is, but that's one I've never seen. And The Girl with the Green Eyes, which I've never seen. Peter Finch and Rita Tushingham, so looking forward to seeing that one. The Knack and How to Get It. Who's actually in this one? Rita Tushingham, Ray Brooks, Michael Crawford, Donald Donnelly. This was directed by Richard Lester, so definitely looking forward to having that. And you also get with this set this rather nice little book, Woodfall, A Revolution in British Cinema. You got, I think it goes into detail on each individual film. Where are we? Girl with the Green Eyes, and then into sort of special features and a little bit of a potted biography of the studio. So that is that box set that you wanted a better look at. Sam and Guy asked me for that, so there you go. That shows you what you get in it. If you can get a decent value copy of it that's not sort of 60 or 70 quid, grab it. This one cost me I think 25. Couldn't be more pleased with it, so looking forward to getting into that one at some point. What else have I got here? Stuart George, you asked me about, or you did, your top 10 80s horror movies. Just bear with me. I've not done 10, I've done 5. These were the 5 that I could just find while I was taking a break a minute ago, which means I can probably come back and do another 5 at some point. But these are 5 of my favourite 80s horror movies. First one, I believe, and I'm not 100% certain on this, so pull me up on it if I'm wrong, this was Dennis Quaid's acting debut. This also stars Kate, what's her name? Kate Capshaw, who was also in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, I believe. Christopher Plummer, Max von Sydow. Dreamscape. I absolutely love this. I remember watching this one night, late, very late. I got in from the pub, I was half cut and I put this on, and I could not get the dream sequence with the kid out of my head for weeks afterwards. Absolutely cracking movie. Basically, before Freddy Krueger started invading people's dreams, there were these people who could get into people's dreams and help them out with nightmares. Um, if you've not seen it, this is a really, really good film. Ahead of its time, I would say. I believe this was 1984 as well. Was it 84? Does it say? Does it echo? But I'm sure it was about 83 or 84. So it just about, I think, predated Nightmare on Elm Street. But that's worth a look. Another one, and I've shown this one off before, Linda Blair. This is post-Exorcist by about 8 years. She did quite a few sort of supernatural, ghosty type things over the years. This was my favourite, Hell Night, about a group of freshmen who are basically challenged to stay the night in a haunted house, Garth Manor, I believe it's called, to gain entry to whatever fraternity they wanted to join. Linda Blair is in this. Not sure who else is in this. Vincent Van Patten. Nobody what you would class as famous. I've seen this 2 or 3 times, and it just gets better with every viewing. I absolutely love this. Absolutely ram-packed with jump scares. It's a really, really good story. Next one. Tremors. I've only ever seen this once, and it was so long ago I can barely remember anything about it. I do remember it being a cracking monster movie. Kevin Bacon and what's the other guy's name? Fred Ward, that's right. Giant sandworms. It's just a cracking monster movie. I think this was about 85 or 86. I think this was post Footloose, if I remember right. But really, really enjoyed it that one time, and I saw this on sale for about £3, so I thought, you know what, we'll have another go at that. So that's Tremors. Next one. This was directed by Mark Lester. Now, I thought that Mark Lester was the guy, or the little kid from Oliver. There's also a director by the name of Mark Lester. I didn't know that. So I saw this at Burton Odeon when it first came out. Thought it was incredibly violent. This is like To Sir with Love on steroids. Class of 1984. Basically, Perry, what's his name? I can never remember his name. Perry King plays a teacher who starts work at an inner city school, a violent place where the students are searched on their way in for sort of knives, guns, weapons, all that kind of thing. It's that kind of a school, and he falls foul of the local gang. This is a really, really good film. Incredibly violent, even for its time. I believe there was a cut version floating around when it first came out in the UK. I think it slightly fell foul of the BBFC. I think this is now an uncut version. If you've not seen it, it is definitely well worth a look. Roddy McDowall is also in this. And finally, this is one I always enjoy. I've seen it so many times I've lost count. The Lost Boys, starring the 2 Coreys. Diane, is it Diane Weiss that's in this? What's her name? Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, of course. Diane Weiss, Kiefer Sutherland, son of Donald. Just the ultimate vampire flick, and an 80s classic with a brilliant soundtrack. I know Chris Hukin, I know you're a real fan of this one. But yeah, that's 5 of my favourite classic 80s horror films. I can come back with another 5 in a few weeks if you want. Also, I promised I would show off what I would consider to be possibly my perfect horror all-nighter, or 4 movies that I would love to do back to back one night if I could stay awake long enough. I've gone for one from the 50s, one from the 60s, and then 70s and 80s with this little lot. First one, we start nice and easy with the Quatermass Experiment. I could probably even do Quatermass 2 on the back of that, because I believe both of these are not much more than about 70-80 minutes long. But the Quatermass experiment is the one that basically started Hammer Studios. I haven't seen it for quite a while. I do remember it was based on a TV series in the 50s, which is legendary as far as the BBC goes. Basically, the pubs would empty on the night that it was on, because everybody wanted to get home to watch Quatermass, and it was as scary as hell back in the day. But I would start nice and easy with something like that from the 50s. Moving on to the 60s, there is only one, isn't there, really? If you're looking for movies that are just pure terror, Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby. I only got this the other week and I've not watched it on 4K yet. I've seen it a few times. It's terrifying stuff, it really is. Stars Mia Farrow coming hot foot from Peyton Place, the series that she was in for years, and I think this was one of the first movies that she did. But this is an absolute classic and a nice one to follow the Quatermass experiment. That's from the 60s. Moving on to the 70s, one of my favourites ever. I would love to watch the trilogy back to back because I haven't seen these for quite a while, but the original was definitely the best. The Omen stars Gregory Peck, Lee Remick, David Warner, basically the son of the devil. It's that kind of thing. It's not watered down, but it's not quite as shocking as The Exorcist, but it is so watchable. I've seen this quite a few times. The death scenes are amazing. The sequel, Damien Omen 2, is also brilliant. Has one of the most shocking death scenes ever. The guy in the elevator, you remember that one. And the final conflict was just great. So this is one that I would definitely love to watch the whole franchise of, including what is regarded as a pretty appalling fourth instalment where the Antichrist is a little girl. Not really sure how that's going to play out, but I suppose if I'm watching the whole franchise, I'd have to take that one in as well. And of course the first Omen, which is doing really, really well. That's actually streaming on Disney Plus at the moment, so that's one that I will be taking in at some point. And then moving on to the 80s, Rob used to love this, and I never got why until I watched it probably a couple of years after he saw it, and I thought, you know what, that's not at all bad. It's basically an Italian version of Friday the 13th called Body Count. Can't remember much about it, but I do remember enjoying it immensely. Ruggero Deodato. Now, I'm fairly sure he did one of the infamous zombie movies, which I need to check out, but that is a really good movie. It's got a decent soundtrack on it as well. So that would be my 4 for a horror all-nighter, Sam. And another thing I promised to sort out last week was a tiny handful of music-related books that I've got. I believe these are mostly autobiographies. Some of these I've read and some I haven't. This first one I have read. I love this lady. I loved her music in the 70s and into the early 80s. Toya. This is a cracking book. I'm about halfway through this. I believe the bookmark is still in here. So there it is. There's my bookmark. So I'm 132 pages into this. But to be fair, I probably do need to read it again because I've been on page 132 for about 3 years. I do need to take this one in again, but I do love Toya Wilcox. Her movies, the ones that she did, she was in Quadrophenia, obviously. She was also in a Derek Jarman film she was in 2, one called Jubilee, which is excellent, and also an adaptation of The Tempest, I think. But yeah, she's led quite the life, or she certainly had up until page 132. This one is basically The Weird and Wonderful World of One-Hit Wonders by Tom Bromley. We Could Have Been the Wombles. What it basically says is, welcome to the heady world of Planet One-Hit Wonder, where there's no one quite like Grandma, everybody cuts footloose, and Bangor is a lovely place for a day out. I bought this thinking I can't wait to read this, and it sat on the shelf gathering dust. The pages are a bit yellow, it's that old, but it's just basically a series of like that. You see, just one song, move on to another one. Is it one that we know? Anything will do. Oh my God, the Grangeshield cast, Just Say No. Yeah, so that's one I definitely want to read at some point. I grew up with this guy, or the music that he made. He comes from an era in the early 80s. Steve Strange blitzed. I remember the Blitz Kids era so well. You're talking Spandau Ballet, Soft Cell. They were all influenced by Bowie and Roxy Music, that kind of thing. But it was such a colourful time of the year. Time of the year? What am I about? Colourful time. Ignore me. I didn't sleep very well last night. Does it show? Of course it bloody does. It's an autobiography. I have read this through once, but it's a long time ago and I can't remember much about it. But it was just a classic era. This one, this is one I've not read yet. I only got this quite recently. I love the music of the Police, so I thought I might get that one. Sting, Broken Music. There's a quote on the front. Sting's excellent book is a well-written, intelligent and compelling autobiography and inspiration. That's the Daily Mail. Having loved the Police, I'm definitely going to read that. I'm also going to get hold of Andy Summers' book. There's another one as well to do with the Police. Can't remember what it's called. The final one of this little bunch, anyway, is I Was a Teenage Pistol by Glenn Matlock. Loved the Sex Pistols, as I know you do, Sam. So really looking forward to getting into this. I watched the series Pistol on Disney Plus not too long back. Absolutely superb, and I believe that series was based a lot on this book, and also Lonely Boy by Steve Jones, which I've also got upstairs, which I'll no doubt be showing off on the next batch. So that's 5 sort of music-based books, and I'll probably be back with another few in a few weeks if you'd like to see more of those. So, right, where are we? Callie, good morning, Callie. It's Saturday morning Tony time. The Romero Dead films are as follows: Night of the Living Dead, hoping that's going on my Christmas list. There's a beautiful Criterion Blu-ray 4K out now. That's going on my Christmas list, as in Dawn of the Dead, which the version I'm after has basically got probably about 4 or 5 different cuts of the movie on. It's out on Blu-ray for about 30 or 40 quid, so that's going on my Christmas list. Day of the Dead I will be watching. It's probably my least favourite, but I probably watched it at the wrong time, so I will be taking it in. Land of the Dead I've never seen. Diary of the Dead I've never seen. Survival of the Dead I've definitely not seen. And you put, I've heard there's a comic book based on the films. I bet they look good. So I will be taking that whole series in now that I've got, or now that I'm equipped with a list in chronological order. So thanks for that. Tony, son of the Pertwee, the Calico Crichton. I'm so glad you still run with the joke that Guy started on Higgis. Why wouldn't I run with it? It's good fun. It's just unfortunate for the poor people who join the group and the channel who don't realise that I'm actually kidding. And they're probably looking at me saying, he doesn't look much like him, does he? So, yeah, absolutely. Any more of them, keep them coming. Missy is the female version of the Master Honey. There was a whole storyline about it. I don't remember this. This is obviously New Who, which I've not seen very much of, apart from the Christopher Eccleston years, the David Tennant years. Who was the one that followed him? See, I can't even remember. And that's when Matt Smith. His stories just baffled me, a lot of them. But I never got much past that, so Missy is one that I've definitely missed out on. And as the Doctor Who journey that I'm on at the moment progresses, I will hit the Missy era, I'm sure. So our DVD collecting, I used to buy them all the time, at least 2 a week, but now I'm more streamlined with it, as I only buy my favourite films or special collector's editions. I wish I could be that disciplined. I'm getting there, I'm definitely getting there, Callie, but I'm not there yet. Planet of the Apes, we all know my feelings on those. You're not keen, basically. Straw Dogs, there's another one for Callie's never seen, but I know Guy has seen that one. Oh, God, he saw that one aged 10 or 11 or something like that. It must have been a real baptism of fire, that one. I think he snuck into the cinema to see it, if I remember right. Correct me, Guy, if I'm wrong on that one, but I'm not sure whether you'd like it. I love it, I really do, and I've not seen it for a while, but I would definitely recommend you take a look at it, absolutely. Yes, love me some Hammer Horror. More to come on that in a future episode of Hunya Geek is showing. And I'm still yet to catch up. I'm 3/4 of the way through the first episode, and I'm going to piggyback episode 2 on the back of that one. So I will have some comments. I've actually got them here, look. They're all sort of written down. These are the notes I've written. I've just not had a chance to add them to these lists, but fear not, I will catch up, I promise you, by next week, including the one that's coming out on Wednesday, which I'm looking forward to, because I've no idea what it's going to be. I'm going to watch Will and Harper very soon, a subject that is obviously close to my heart, especially with the news I received yesterday. I had a feeling this one will be within your wheelhouse. Looking forward to seeing what you think of that one. Rob and I are going to watch it one Saturday night. I showed him the trailer the other night and he said, oh yeah, we'll have a look at that. So we can compare notes on that one. Yes, honey, Higgis Star Trek Part 2 dropped this past Wednesday. Or a week last Wednesday, as it will be when you're watching this. So, yeah, this is obviously what I do need to catch up on. Wait, what happened to my comment from last week? I'm sure I posted a comment last week. You didn't. Definitely not. I looked at it when I was copying and pasting the notes. And I always have a last look on a Sunday morning just to make sure nobody's added anything. And you were definitely missed, Callie. You were certainly most definitely missed. So that's why it's good to hear from you this week. But I will double check, but I'm fairly sure that I didn't miss that. Stallone as Doctor Who now. There's something I need to see. What on earth is that all about? Oh, yes. I remember. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, slip of the tongue. My question for you this week, what film or films have you changed your mind on upon a second or third watch? This is another question that I want to come back on. I've had to think about this over the last couple of days. What I need to do is go through my entire collection, shelf by shelf, and I'm sure that I can pick, say, 5. I'm fairly sure that will fit the criteria there. So leave that one with me. I will add that to next week's notes, along with, for fuck's sake, catch up with Higgis, will you? Night of the Living Dead, pure classic. And as I said to my daughter yesterday, it's a rare case of the black character not only being the lead, but also the last to die in a film that came out in the mid-60s. The trope of movies at the time was the black guy dies first. My God. Oh, God, I'm so glad we don't live in those days anymore. Yeah, I do remember it wasn't so much controversial for its violence. It was controversial for the fact that the lead character was a black guy. Which I find really odd, which you do nowadays, but back then, obviously, it was a big deal. Tales from the Crypt TV show was good. I've seen a few episodes of it. The films, especially Demon Knight, are worth a watch too. I will take a look when I get a minute. I've never seen a single episode of Tales from the Crypt, but I did enjoy the movie from 1971. Another cracking episode, honey. Look forward to next week's episode. Thanks, Callie. Much appreciated. And I will this week catch up with Higgis, and I shall have some thoughts on that for you next week. Jason P. What have I got? Oh, God, 7 minutes. I might just get it. Let's see. Great video as always. Cheers, Jace. Bit of a late viewing tonight as we've been catching up with some friends and family and eating out. Oh, I met my friend's brother, Andrew Lorden, today, who is a jobbing actor, 7 foot tall too. Jesus Christ, it's not very often I look up when talking to people. Really nice guy too. Have we seen him in anything? Not much in the way of comments today. I did write a bit on here, then my phone threw a dicky fit and switched off on me, so lost it all. Good job it wasn't a long one. So I will finish with this before we've even started. Last Christmas is one hell of a Christmas feel-good British movie. Watched it at the cinema in 2019 and we watch it every year now, so this year will be the 6th viewing. It's not a long movie, so you're okay. Even better if you like George Michael's music, which we do. The name of the film gives it away a little. You and Rob will love this. I will show him the trailer and see what he thinks. It may be just one for me, but I get the feeling that you're probably right on that. You and Rob will love this, I promise you. It's on Prime at the minute for free, so hopefully it will be in December. I have the Blu-ray, of course. The soundtrack is amazing. Make this part of your Christmas viewing this year, along with Trading Places and Disney's A Christmas Carol. I'll add them both. Take care, mate. Short but sweet. You'll never seen it this week. Week 42 of 100, Glory from 1989. Robert Goldshaw leads the US Civil War's first all-black volunteer company, fighting prejudices from both his own Union Army and the Confederates. Tony, you mentioned this movie in last week's video. I watched it a few months ago. After reading about it, I thought I was in for an epic movie. It wasn't. I found it a bit boring and was glad when it finished. If it was on for 3 hours and not 2, I would have turned it off. Wow. Never has such a good write-up turned out to be so disappointing. You think that's long? There's a movie called Gettysburg, which clocks in at 4 hours and 15 minutes, which is based along the same lines. Now, I wouldn't mind a look at both of those. Not back to back though, because I bet you must be talking over 6 hours for both of those. Update on Never Seen for next year. I now have 42 films in the bag. I watched one from the 60s the other day that I enjoyed so much I've ordered the DVD. Can't wait to find out what that one is. Mark, you commented, you think I'm going to say I've not seen it, don't you? No. Mark commented, not only have I seen this movie many times, I rather enjoy it. So fucking there. Your this week, never seen this week, Mark, was Silence of the Lambs. One word. Meh. What does meh mean? Jodie Foster's stupid southern accent fucked me off from the get-go. 6 out of 10. Mark was not impressed with Silence of the Lambs. I've seen it. I quite enjoy it. I've not seen it many times, probably half a dozen. Always seem to end up watching it when it's on TV, but I must admit, if you'd have asked me whether Mark would like it, I'd have been split down the middle with that one. I wouldn't have known for sure, to be honest. So, right, I've got a couple of little bits to show you that I've bought this week, and then I'm going to wrap it up in under an hour. Much more manageable for everybody. First one, Mark, I do listen to you. Thin Red Line on Blu-ray. A long film, 164 minutes. Definitely going to take this in, along with 310 from Yuma, which you recommended to me a few weeks back, and I did grab a Blu-ray of that, so really glad I've got a copy of that again. What else have I got here? Escape to Victory. I'm probably the only person in the known world that hasn't seen this, so despite the apparent arm break that Dave was warning me about, and Dave, by the way, you put some comments a little bit later on the group, and I've not included them on this, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to be going basically through the group and just putting some more comments on that I've missed for this week. Sorry, this is not going well this week. That's one. The Bucks Fizz story. This was actually supposed to be a Christmas present for Rob, but I actually took this out of the envelope, not realising what it was, and he spotted it and said, "Oh, what am I watching that?" Of course you wouldn't. So it's no longer a Christmas present. It's a watch for one Saturday night, I think. And finally, Guy, you will be so proud of me. You'll be even prouder of me when I've actually watched this. I got this for £4. Knight Rider, the first season. You did say to grab the box set. The actual box set on DVD is about £70. Or was it Blu-ray? I can't remember. But I thought I'll grab the first season first, just see whether that episode that I watched was a fluke and make sure I enjoy them all, or most of them. And if so, I'll move on to season 2, 3 and 4. But looking forward to getting into this. If it's anywhere near as good as the episode that I did see, I'm going to be in for a treat with that. So, right, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. It's not gone particularly well this morning, but I'm not going to complain. So, thanks ever so much for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of thing. I'll be back with you the same time next week. Anything that I've forgotten to mention that I said last week that I would cover, please bear with me. It will appear hopefully next week. I will be scrolling through the group to catch any comments and bits and pieces that I should have included this week. So hopefully that will flesh it out a bit next week. So thanks ever so much for joining me, guys. Have a brilliant week, and I will talk to you all again same time next week. Take care. Ta-da.